Welcome back to Marvel Month by Month. It's January 1963, and Marvel is going all in. Superheroes, cosmic drama, bizarre villains, and even Stan Lee and Jack Kirby making cameos inside the comics themselves. This is the month where Marvel starts to feel truly self-aware, where the line between the real world and the world of superheroes gets deliciously blurry. So buckle up, because today we're covering 5 wild comics. It's a mix of mind swaps, sticky glue, subterranean tyrants, communist warlords, giant insects, and, of course, Loki being Loki. Let's dive in. Fantastic Four number 10. Doom, Reed, and Stan and Jack. This issue is one for the ages. The Fantastic Four are back, and this time their adventure begins not in a lab or the Baxter Building, but at Marvel Comics itself. Yep, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby are characters inside their own story. We start with Reed working on an experiment, trying to photograph Sue while she's invisible, when the team gets a flare signal from Alicia Masters. Turns out, Alicia just wanted to show off her sculptures of the Fantastic Four's villains, not exactly life or death stuff. But meanwhile, at the offices of Marvel Comics, Stan and Jack are in trouble. They can't come up with a new villain. Just as Jack pitches a guy named False Face. Who shows up? Dr. Doom himself. He barges into their office, threatening to unmask and scar them for life unless they lure Reed Richards into a trap. Reed comes, gets gassed, and Doom takes him prisoner. But here's the twist. Doom has learned a new trick from aliens called the Ovoids. Mind swapping. Doom steals Reed's body. Now he's Mr. Fantastic, and Reed is trapped inside Doom's armored shell. The FF, of course, don't believe Reed when he insists that Doom has stolen his body. Doom as Reed almost succeeds in shrinking the team out of existence until Johnny finally notices that Doom is acting too heroic. He risks his life to save Sue. That's the giveaway. The real Doom is exposed, the mind swap undone, and in classic ironic fashion, Doom ends up blasted by his own shrink ray, seemingly vanishing into nothing. This issue is a perfect mix of comedy and high drama. Stan and Jack are literally written into the story. Doom proves himself as Marvel's ultimate schemer, and the Fantastic Four narrowly escape annihilation again. Strange Tales, number 104, Enter Paste Pot. Pete. From Cosmic Mind Swaps, we move to glue. Yes, glue. In Strange Tales number 104, Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, faces a brand new villain, Paste Pot Pete, and yes, that's really his name. Pete is basically a crook with a bucket of super paste. He robs a bank, traps Johnny, and then manages to steal a missile from the U.S. military. He even straps Johnny to the rocket Bond villain style and launches it. But the torch flames back up, escapes, and melts Pete's getaway truck. Pete flees, using a sticky rope to hitch a ride on a plane, but ends up falling into the ocean. It's absurd, it's silly, but don't laugh too hard. Paste Pot. Pete eventually rebrands himself as the Trapster and becomes a long-term Marvel villain. This is his sticky, awkward, but unforgettable debut. Over in Incredible Hulk number 5, we get 2 full stories, and both crank up the Cold War energy. First up, Beauty and the Beast. We meet Tyrannus, a subterranean warlord who wants Betty Ross as his bargaining chip to conquer the world. He lures Betty underground, forces Hulk into gladiator combat, and enslaves him. But thanks to Rick Jones freeing Betty, Hulk rebels, smashes Tyrannus's kingdom, and collapses the caverns. It's Marvel's first taste of the whole mole people archetype, civilizations lurking beneath us, ready to strike. Then in The Hordes of General Fang, the Cold War goes full pulp adventure. General Fang is basically a communist warlord terrorizing Tibet. The Hulk travels to Asia, disguises himself as a Yeti, and scares Fang's troops into retreat. Fang tries holographic dragons and electrified cages, but the Hulk just smashes through everything. In the end, Hulk literally kidnaps Fang and dumps him on Formosa, where he'll be punished by anti-communist forces. If the first half was sword and sandal sci-fi, the second half is straight Cold War propaganda. Hulk, as America's ultimate weapon against communist aggression. Next up, Tales to Astonish number 39, where Ant-Man faces one of his weirdest enemies yet, the Scarlet Beetle. Radiation mutates a regular beetle into a telepathic mastermind. It steals Hank Pym's shrinking gas, grows to human size, and commands an insect army to terrorize humanity, sabotaging infrastructure, spreading disease, even stealing dynamite. Ant-Man gets trapped in a pit, but with help from his ants, escapes and turns the tide. He uses honey, water fountains, and DDT to scatter the insect army. Then he duels the Scarlet Beetle in a toy store, punctures its shrinking gas tank, and reduces it back to normal size. In the end, Hank deradiates the Beetle and sets it free. It's bonkers, it's very Silver Age, but it shows how Marvel loved mixing Cold War fears with classic sci-fi mutation stories. Finally, journey into mystery number 88, and it's another Thor vs. Loki showdown. Odin has grounded Loki in Asgard after his last defeat, but Loki sneaks out by turning into a snake and slipping past Heimdall. Classic Loki. He heads to Earth, hypnotizes Jane Foster, and sets a trap for Thor. The two gods battle in Central Park, but when Loki endangers Jane, Thor sacrifices his hammer to save her. Without Mjolnir for 60 seconds, Thor reverts into Donald Blake. Loki traps the hammer inside a magical force field, leaving Blake helpless. But Blake tricks Loki with a newspaper story, fakes out the god of mischief, and recovers Mjolnir. Thor defeats Loki in hilarious fashion, using peanuts to flush him out of a flock of pigeons, then trapping him in a tennis net. The god of mischief gets dragged back to Asgard in humiliating defeat. This issue is where Loki cements himself as both dangerous and ridiculous. He's Marvel's perfect trickster villain. So that's January 1963. A mind swap with Doom, a crook with glue, Hulk fighting underground tyrants and communist warlords, Ant-Man battling a giant radioactive beetle, and Thor tricking Loki with peanuts and a tennis net. This is Marvel at its most chaotic, experimental, and fun. If you loved this trip into the past, hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Which of these January 1963 issues would you most want in your collection? Next time we'll look at February 1963, where things get even wilder. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.